Hi, this is Radek. First of all, thank you for checking out aiquizzes. I'm extremely honored that you decided to give aiquizzes a shot. I'm recording this video to tell you a little bit about how aiquizzes works so that you can get the most out of it for the least amount of time invested. So the first thing to bear in mind is that when you register, you will receive an email with an activation link, and you will be required to activate your account before you can start using it. You will get automatically logged in, but you will be able to start learning only after you access the activation link from the email. Now, I'm doing this solely so that the platform is not abused, because otherwise somebody could register with somebody else's email address, and they would the platform can send you notification emails when questions become available for review. So we don't want that. We want the questions to go to the person that signed up, hence the activation procedure. If you encounter any issues at this point, please let me know. I will do my best to help you. Once you open the email, all you need to do is press the activation link, and you should be immediately logged in and brought to the screen to the Learn module, where you can start learning. So you're presented with the first question, a question from the first lecture, and to understand how aiquizzes works, there's one crucial bit of information, and that's there are essentially two sets of questions. There are the questions that are in learning mode, and then there are the questions that the system considers that you've already learned, and it goes into the spaced repetition algorithm, where the questions will be shown to you using time intervals to use your time as efficiently as can be, while also maximizing recall, maximizing your ability to memorize things so that you don't forget. So the first time you are shown a question, it is in a learning mode, and you're not expected to know the answer. So you can read through the question. Okay, this question asks you, what do you not need to do deep learning? Well, who knows? So let's see the answer. And we don't know the answer to this question potentially because we haven't been shown this question before. So we take a look at the answer. Okay, so this is the answer. Now I can study what the answer is. There's a part of the lecture that's referenced. Okay, I can go there, play the video, right? Okay, so it seems that we need three things, and or you don't need three things specifically. You don't need lots of math, you don't need lots of data, and you don't need lots of expensive computers. Fine. So if you have given a perfect answer to this question, because who knows, maybe you knew the answer up front, then you would hit spot on. And once that happens, the question will go into the spaced repetition set of questions. But if you didn't know the answer to the question, you don't feel that you fully learned what the answer to this question is, then you're okay to to click partially correct or to incorrect. And what this will do is this will keep the question. This will keep the question in the set of questions that are still to be learned, and the system will cycle through these questions, showing them to you until you learn them, without the spaced repetition algorithm kicking in. So let's say that we didn't know the answer to this question, and we only knew a partially correct answer, so we can hit partially correct, and it will take us to the next question for us to review. Here, this is another question that we haven't seen yet. So it's again in the learning mode. We show the answer, but maybe this question is one that we know the answer to, so we hit spot on, and the system records this answer, and then the spaced repetition algorithm kicks in. So this is fairly intuitive. There's nothing to worry about if you are shown a question and you don't know the answer, or essentially even without thinking, without considering whether this is a question that's in learning mode or that's in spaced repetition mode, you should be able to use the system to its full advantage, as long as you give a fairly accurate answer to whether the question that you gave was spot on, partially correct, or incorrect. Now, just as a piece of information, once the question enters the spaced repetition set of questions, while it's no longer in learning mode, then the impact that the answers that you give here will have is essentially, if you say that you answered the question partially correct, then maybe the system will show you the question sooner than if you answered spot on, and same for incorrect. It will try to accommodate the fact that you maybe were unable to recall the question, and will try to present you the question after a time interval that it considers might work best for you to memorize it going forward. So that's it when it comes to figuring out how to use the learning module, and that's accessible here under Learn, right? This is what we have been discussing. Now, it's what can also be very useful is visiting settings. Here under settings, you can select which lectures you want to be shown questions from. So if you're going through the FAST AI curriculum and maybe you're only on the first lecture, then you might not want to be shown questions from subsequent lectures, or maybe you are only, for the time being, doing the part one of the course. So maybe you want to see only questions from from the first three lectures, and you don't necessarily want to see questions from part 2 V3 of the course. So from the 3 lectures that we have here. So use settings to your advantage, and there's one other piece of configuration here, and currently this is by default set to no, so this one is unchecked, and the setting in question is send email when there are questions requiring your review. So the way this works is every 3 days the system checks whether there are questions in your queue awaiting review, and if there are any questions there where the system believes that you might benefit from reviewing them, an email will be sent to you with links to these questions. So by default this is currently unchecked. Maybe I will change this as I implement new features and as I make unsubscribing from these emails easier, but for the time being there is no such option, so you have to go into settings to either disable or enable this piece of configuration. And the way this can particularly come in handy is if you have learned the questions from the lectures that are of interest to you, if they are in the spaced repetition set of questions. You might want to go onto the system every day and you will see that maybe there's one question awaiting for you to be reviewed, or maybe there are no questions. So instead of checking the system, you might prefer to wait for the email to hit your inbox and then you see, okay, so I have 3 questions. I will just click the link, go to review them, and that's it. All right, so I hope that maybe this video was helpful to you. If at any point you encounter any issues, or have any questions, something is not working right, or you're feeling a bit lost or not sure how to proceed, please give me a shout. Here I share my email address, and you can also find me on Twitter. So looking forward to hearing from you. Okay, thanks so much, and I hope you enjoy using the platform.